Hello, greetings from the great north. It's a beautiful day. I came to the boat to just make sure the motor started. My boat is a 1964 wooden runabout, and it's one of only 7 boats that are still in the water here at the marina. It's kind of funny that one of the oldest boat by far is still in the water in the great north. Just wanted to do a somewhat short video. It was inspired partially by the Mountain Dispatch on her video this morning about taking time to rest. And it was also inspired in a kind of reactive sense in that I don't agree with him by a guy named John Griffin, who makes videos mainly targeted towards men who have, dealt with things like divorce or relationship issues. And he gives really good advice about, pursuing your own dreams in terms of work. He, before his divorce, some 6 years ago or so, he quit his corporate job and went off to start his own business as a fitness coach, which is great. And then that led to some, issues, whatever, the divorce and all that stuff. And he gives really cool, really good, often very useful advice. But he over and over again, he's focused on the idea that your time is limited. In his video that I listened to today, he said the average person only gets 700,000 hours or something like that. I think that's what he said, and that's about 80 years. And I have a very profound metaphysical and philosophical disagreement with the idea that if you focus on how limited your time is, that's a good thing, and that it will induce you somehow to not to pursue your dreams more effectively or more likely to pursue your dreams. And I don't really think that's true, and I'll kind of explain why I don't think it's true. Most people are already overly focused on the idea that they have a limited amount of time and that the clock is ticking. Women are told about their biological clocks running out, and men are told, same thing, like, oh, you only have a certain amount of time before you become old and feeble, or ageism hits and you can't, make it in the corporate world. Well, phooey to all that horse shit. Number one, nobody knows how much time they have. There are people who die at 5 years old. There are people who live to be well over 100. More profound, more metaphysically, I'm a follower. I really think there's a lot of validity to the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo and his co-partner in the integral yoga, Mia Elfasa. Hey, Tucker. My dog's here. You'll see him nosing around here. And they believe that as you develop your supraconsciousness, which is a level that most people don't get to, I need to reread his books, or one of the really good book by about his life and philosophy called The Adventure of Consciousness by one of their disciples. Anyway, I'll put a reference to that book in the video link, in the video description. So, my criticism with the idea that your time is running out fast and that you need to focus on getting your shit done and focusing on dreams is it doesn't really need Sri Aurobindo and Aurobindo's idea that you can actually greatly increase lifespan or longevity through reaching down into matter and the lower levels using their techniques. There's a guy walking by. Let me wait for a second. Anyway, it doesn't require that at all, because I believe that when people focus on the idea they're running out of time, most people tend to get really anxious and they become more obsessive, and then it changes the things that they'll focus on. So if you think your time is running out, yeah, maybe you're going to be like, I'm going to pursue my dream, like the guy that the Mountain Dispatch mentioned either in an article or maybe it was at our Patreon. Anyway, the guy who thought he was dying of leukemia, and then he decided to pursue his dream of swimming the length of the Columbia River. Well, great, and he did that, and then lo and behold, when he came out the mouth of the river, or the his cancer was gone. Doctor, nobody could. It was miraculously gone. He was cured. No leukemia. But again, that's great. He thought his time was limited, but what it induced him to do was to pursue something that was important to him on a spiritual level that the system didn't think was important. So because he was faced with the existential idea that this is it, I won't be here anymore, he let the system's ideas of what you should do with your life and your time go, and he did what was really important to him. So I don't think it's healthy for most people to focus on the idea they're running out of time, because they may focus on things that they feel they can accomplish in a limited amount of time rather than focusing on something that might take a long time or decades. Maybe it'll take decades to write the great novel they want to write, or maybe it'll take years and years to learn the skills to be a painter or an artist. But if they think they only have a couple months left or a year or whatever, they'll be likely to just not do that. You might think, I need to do something I can actually get done in the limited amount of time I have. I'm running out of time. And I think you can get my point, that when you feel that if you actually have, take an absurd scenario where you have a clock ticking in the background. You can hear tick, tick. Is that really going to improve people's ability to focus on that which is important to them, which may take decades or years or lifetimes, or if you believe in multiple lives, may take multiple lives? Whereas from a spiritual perspective, in which either reincarnation is possible, or Sri Aurobindo and Mia Alfonso believe that you can. I'm in a boat I'm sitting in my boat, so you'll hear the lines creaking as the boat rocks at the dock. So I don't think that's a positive way to go. I think the positive way to go is to feel that only the present moment exists, and that's an eternity, because only the present exists, and that just each present moment is just part of presence, which is infinite. And you will, if you give yourself the time and space to rest, as the Mountain Dispatch said, and recover and be still, you will discover your true life's purpose and start doing it and living it. Not just doing it, but living it. And it's hard to live in presence if you're focused on the idea of time running out. So again, I have a very deep philosophical disagreement with John Griffin and anybody else who tells people it's a great idea to focus on your limited amount of time. And there's a clock tick. He actually used that image. The clock is ticking in the background. Oh no, I'm running out of time. What am I going to do? No, focus on the eternal present, and the things that don't matter will just slough off, and you'll find yourself doing them less, or just saying, I'm sorry, I don't wish to do that. I don't want to go shopping today. I don't need that. Anyway, and then you'll definitely not start running around like a chicken with your head cut off in this existential crisis because time is running out. You'll live at a more measured pace. You will live longer physically. Biologically, you're going to be healthier when you're not worried and anxious that your time is running out. I don't know about some of these coaches and gurus on the internet who are getting legions of followers, and I don't know. I think they're gaining followers by tying into people's fears. And that, if that's how they want to do it, that's fine. If that philosophy works for you, go for it. So that's my response to this idea that your time is running out. You got to run around. Oh my God, what am I going to do? I got to pursue my dreams. Well, yeah, you're not going to figure out what your dream is when you're full of anxiety because your time is running out. Live in the present. Take time to rest, as the Mountain Dispatch said. Be still. Be at peace. Enjoy the beauty of nature, or just sitting on a boat rocking at the docks. Look how beautiful it is out here. It's still. Thank you for listening.